Hello, dear viewer. So today I'm trying a different format, trying to speak on a camera, which is a little bit difficult. I'm a little bit camera shy, so hope you will excuse me. And the reason why I tried this new format is partly because in my garden all roses are finished their first flush. There are not many new flowers I could show you, so I decided to step back, have a look and think of all my garden and maybe find out what I did wrong, what could be done better, what could have been done better, and how to fix these issues now. So I'd like to share with you my 4 main mistakes in creating this garden, and hopefully you will be able to avoid them, or if you have already made them like me, there are some ways how to solve them now. Well, maybe you know I started this garden 3 years ago. Now it's the 3rd year. When I first came into this garden, I saw a very long green corridor because it was a long and narrow town garden full of grass. Practically it was a long patch of grass with some dying bushes which I had to take out. And nevertheless, I was so overwhelmed. I was so happy to start gardening again because it was a 10 years gap in my gardening experience. I used to have a garden long ago, but then for 10 years I had nothing. And as soon as I was able to start, I was only thinking about planting. So silly enough, I didn't think of design at all. My first year of gardening, I spent digging this grass and taking out the bushes. It was a box tree or box bush which was completely dead because of caterpillars, and there were some very, very old lilacs. I tried to save them, but they didn't flower very well and they didn't smell very well. And yes, it took some time to just prepare the planting place. And what I did quite a straightforward thing. So I left a long path in the middle, and on the both equal sides of it, I had my borders. But as you can imagine, it only promoted this feeling of a long, narrow garden, long corridor. And as soon as I realized it, I understood that something was wrong. And at that point, I started checking some internet or design tips for such gardens. And I found a very interesting YouTube channel called Middle Sized Garden. You may know it. If you don't, I will leave the link to the channel in the description, because it's very helpful. There are lots of gardening videos. So I found these tips on how to design a long and narrow garden, and the first and basic step was break the space. And how I could fix it, I could make a winding path. That's what I did. I changed the direction of my main garden path, and added a curve. In this way, actually I created a more interesting space in the garden. And now I think I could have gone even further, because maybe I should have created separate beds and more garden paths and to go across the garden. But at the time I don't know, I didn't take a risk. It seemed to me that to create more paths, it will mean to steal planting space, because I thought that everything which is not a border is just wasteland. A lawn is a wasteland. I need as much space for my planting as possible. So I only opted for this winding path, and it worked actually. I think it's a good solution. But if you can go further and maybe have a little lawn in the middle, or maybe now I'm thinking I a little bit regret I didn't go for an island bed in the middle. that would be maybe very interesting. So the first mistake, no initial garden design. It was lack of ideas, lack of initial design for my type of the garden. Well, and the second mistake, which comes as a result of my first mistake, sorry, my toddler needed some help. I'm back. Well, as I said, as I didn't have this initial design, my bed's layout was completely wrong, and I did create these borders. First they were straight, then I made them a little bit curved, but still I planted them. Mainly I wanted a rose garden mainly, and as you know, roses need maintenance. They need deadheading, they need feeding, and so I need to reach my roses quite often. But what I did, I put them in the back of these borders naturally because they're quite tall. But now every time I need to maintain my roses, I need to step into these borders, and sometimes I crash little flowers and I can step on something. So basically it's just not very comfortable. And now I think I should have made this layout of beds in a different way to make it more accessible, to be able to reach my roses from both sides. But it didn't occur to me at the moment, and now I feel like it was a very bad idea. But what I can do, I'm going to add some stepping stones, to add some pavers or just any material I can find in my garden, maybe some bricks, maybe some gravel, and add just little stepping stones inside my borders, so that at least when I'm going for roses, so at least not to step on plants and not to step on soil, not to compact it even more. So the mistake was wrong beds layout, not thinking about maintenance of these beds, and the way to fix it is to add stepping stones, avoid spoiling the plants inside the border when I come in for maintenance, for make it easier. And the third mistake is, maybe you have noticed when you looked at my garden, and by the way, thank you for support and kind comments that you are leaving. It's very important for me. I'm really very, very happy because I can share something with you and have your feedback. So as you may have noticed, I have quite a lot of space or gaps in the borders, and that's not what I wanted initially. That's just because I don't have enough planting material. As my garden is fairly young and I started it from scratch, I had no plants at all, and I had to buy everything. As you can imagine, plants are quite expensive, so I could only buy one, maximum 3 plants at the same time. And now I'm propagating, taking cuttings, splitting, so trying to bulk up these planting materials. But for the moment they are very small, and sometimes cuttings fail, so I still don't have enough plants to cover all these borders completely. And you may say you need to go for annuals to fill in these gaps, and I absolutely agree with you. But the only problem is that maybe I'm not very good at growing things from seeds. But this year I have absolute disaster with my Cosmos seedlings, with my Zinnia seedlings. They just don't grow. I try to feed them, I try to water them, I do everything I can, but they don't grow. It's mid-June, but they're still very small, and maybe we are 1 month before flowering, that's for sure. So even these little annuals which I have, they don't cope with their task. But so autumn sowing is a solution, because things I sowed in winter and autumn, and even in very, very early spring, such as calendulas, marigolds, which are in flower, my breadseed poppies are in flower now, and they are absolutely wonderful. And snapdragon cuttings, which I overwintered, they are in flower already. And that is the thing that I should go for if I want to cover these gaps. So I need something which I sow in autumn or in winter, which I overwinter, and then in June, when roses are over, say at this moment, mid-June, I have my plants. But if I try to rely on zinnias and cosmos, which are great, which are my favorite, absolutely favorite things to have in the garden, without a very good greenhouse, maybe it's very, very difficult to get those. Sorry, my toddler is coming. So the mistake was to leave these big gaps in planting, not cover them with hardy annuals from winter sowing and autumn sowing. And the fourth mistake I would like to tell you about today is fences. That's a problem because the view, let's say, it's not very attractive. And I can have very beautiful roses, very nice flowers in my garden, but at the background I will still have my neighbors' gardens, and maybe that is not the best background for my garden, for my flowers. So now I think, instead of investing in some other things, which I did when we came to this house and I started developing the garden, maybe one of the first things to do was to actually invest in fences. Now I decided to use this bamboo panels. They are not very expensive, at least they're less expensive than building a normal fence, but they do their job. They serve as a nice boundary, they serve as a nice background for my plants, and I decided that I might even paint them darker color, dark gray or black, just to make them disappear, to make them vanish, and make my plants pop up. So now I try to work with my monthly budget and buy this step by step, buy these bamboo panels and create more or less beautiful fence. No matter how beautiful your garden is, if you don't have a good background, that is a good fence, it won't look at its best. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully my confessions will help you somehow. Again, I take this opportunity to thank all of you who subscribed to my channel, and I invite you, those of you who didn't, to do it and join me. It would be very nice to have you here and to hear from you in the comments. Thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.